to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we got through item 1. Item number 2. Approval of meeting minute agenda items.
No changes. Move to approve the meeting agenda items of April 5th, 2023 as presented.
Oh, I got a speaker down. There's been a motion and a second to approve the meeting agenda items for April 5th, 2023 as presented. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Okay, approval of minutes.
Move to approve the meeting minutes of April 15th, 2023 regular session or meeting as presented.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second to approve the the meeting minutes, for March 15th, 2023 regular session as presented. In favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Mr. Carter.
Well, we got a lot of things going, make sure I cover some of them, but the middle school changes that the community asked for last board meeting, I'm very pleased to announce that we've got a really good program going. So we got students in the middle school, we'll have the majority of their classes here in this building. There'll be a couple, but they have to attend like the science lab, so they'll be walking certain routes going, so limited content. Did I cover that? Enough. So we're pretty excited about that. So we're going to be moving classrooms, and we're trying to acknowledge the need for this and also the community input. So we're taking cut back and just ready to go. So we're ready for next one.
So all 7th grade
And 8th grade.
and 8th grade.
We'll be here except for like they did in the old days where they do have PE and they do have science.
And
No.
there's, so social studies 8 is on this upper building right here, so it's
Outside.
still outside and disconnected. The one we haven't been able to move yet is 8th grade science, but we're working really hard to find a way to make that work. But the way the personnel is running right now, that's up in the air right now. But for the most part, we have the culinary elective, horticulture elective, Avid elective, English, math, science, social studies, 7 at least completely over here. Then you have your shop, your ag, art, if they take art, right? PE and health is only a quarter, so one's a quarter. every quarter.
So we're talking 90+% of the classes. It's pretty good.
And another big thing is having their lockers over here in the DMS too. So they're not in the same halls as high school students.
And we met with the maintenance crew today about lockers, and now we're gonna put those in, so we'll be ready to go.
Are we going to need to get new lockers or can we move
Well, we're
lockers?
gonna need somewhere short, but we're gonna figure that out, because we're state surplus, so we called them and left a message to put us on the list, because some new buildings we built, and anytime they built new buildings, those old lockers come out.
Okay.
We'll get some of those. We're gonna do the best we can with that one. We're pretty excited that we've, community asked for that, and we're able to deliver, so that's really good.
Okay.
She just missed it.
Ours at conferences.
To make it short and to the
But I
point.
just got this.
Good.
Yeah, it has the map in
It
there.
has a map in there and everything, so it's all set. We want to make sure that we let people know. So the map is really good, and it's a good thing. It's also going to be important for identity. Our middle school, this is that identity, I think that's the key thing we've been working for. And COVID slowed us down, like you mentioned, but now we're
And we'll be able to have an admin office in there, and we'll rotate through Hillary, myself, and counseling in that admin office in the middle to have some supervision.
so that way we're there. Any questions from the board?
No, I think it's great. I remember the first year that we got all combined. Logan was a 7th grader, and I was very apprehensive of having them in high school any sooner than they needed to be. But so I think this is a good option to try and get things split back up again.
Couple things then, I want to thank the commissioners and stuff, they've been giving me information about how there's some extra, I call it pocket money, so when the biennium comes to an end, there's some money, like if somebody gets a $50 million grant and only spend 48, that money goes back in. So it's pocket money, a lot of that, so commissioners turned me on to it, so I put 2 grants in in time for the capital projects, and one is for $304,000, and that will allow us to look at a daycare community partnership for the whole daycare for the whole town. That'd be big enough for everything, so we're pretty excited about that. The other one is that we went over, because of various and sundry issues, costs and everything, about over $30,000 for the current preschool. So we're going for that as well. And the county is, so we've got two options in there, and that way we make sure we can cover and make sure everything's done correctly. Pretty excited about that. We have a couple of legislative bills we're working frantically on, and a couple of them that's really bothersome, of course, is the ethics, the Senate Bill 292. That particular one deals with the boards having to sign up. But right now, one of the amendments we got in there, and we're pretty sure it's going to pass, is that if a board member is currently a board member, they just served a term out, will not have to comply with that law. Any new board members will have to comply with that law. And the other one that's hitting us hard is House Bill 1045. That particular bill deals with some of the curriculum, and what they're trying to do is take away the board's local control about approving curriculum that's on the state list.
So this is the one that superintendent in Portland is pushing to, that he wants us all to have the same curriculum, so.
And that curriculum does not fit our,
Potentially
that curriculum does not fit our
Right.
values. I'm
Right.
very blunt with you. I don't want to go through all the details, but the values do not fit our community.
Yeah,
And
I can't see
I
us.
do not believe it needs to be in schools. So there's a superintendents that do not believe that. The small school superintendents do not believe it. So we are pushing hard to get that changed, and there are Senate Rule Committee right now. We have 9 amendments going in that will take care of this issue.
So what kind of time frame is that to,
Well, yeah. This week is the big week, and then of course after that, then we have 2 weeks, and after that the bill stops. All the rest of it. So it can go all the way to June. I've seen a few bills go all the way to June. Most of them though should be either spelled out or not by the 15th of May or die.
okay,
So right now I've got the Senate rules, which is a good part for us.
right,
The other one that's really concerning me is the early childhood, and that could wind up costing all the small schools, because again, that's where I spend most of my time on the small school legislation, not, because the big schools have their own lobbies.
right.
We have one, so we work with that. But, you know, House Bill 3198, and that's the early literacy one, and Senate Bill 767 is the one dealing with some of the issues of putting materials in libraries, forcing materials in libraries that we do not think that should be in schools. It should be the parents' ability to say what they need to say.
And where's that one at?
That one there is, we're hoping to get it killed in committee.
Okay,
It's in the rules right now, so once it comes out, there's Senate rules, and hopefully we can get it killed.
okay.
It's a laborious process, I'm sorry for all that, but I'm just trying to make sure the board knows
Well,
where we're at.
we talked, but those last two are pretty concerning.
They're very concerned to us, because the curriculum, parents, in my opinion, need to be able to teach their own sexuality. Schools should not be required to do their own sexuality. That's my opinion, as superintendent.
Right. Okay.
Okay, that part there is important. I want to mention that we had a great LOEA meeting, our first negotiation meeting with the teachers, and it went really well. Our next one is next Tuesday, so we feel that. We also have our first one coming up on the 28th of April with OSEA, the classified staff. So we're excited about that one. Want to mention that my assistant here put in for a grant, and she was able to get 5 kids, our needy kids, some extra money. So there was a grant out for the state, and I think, what did you say, 600? I don't remember the details. I mean, they haven't even districts, but
Yeah, not very, well, it's supposed to be a grant where you put in for about 5, well, you're given 5 students up to. And then it's a $25 a piece grant, but not as many schools put in this year, so they were able to give more money. So each of our little guys got $55 this year.
And so
so is
what,
there anything you need?
It's called the Brady Fund Grant, and it's through OSBA.
and so,
And they will just be given $55 to them.
To buy needs, you know.
Anything,
Oh, okay.
anything that they need, hygiene,
Okay.
clothing,
okay, got it.
yeah.
So I was excited, because that's the first time we put that together, so she did that on her own. So I wanted to make sure she doesn't get praised for that sometimes, but that's what's important. Last but not least, PACE Day. So we have, by going to PACE Day, we send our HR and myself, and we go to training, and it's in Sun River. They pay for one room, we're paying for one room. And then what we do is we go there and we actually get trained on FEMLA and all the other HR attributes. If we meet 12 modules, we get 5% discount on our insurance, and that's rather substantial.
So, is this a 2-day deal?
Yeah, we go there that evening, we start that night, and it goes all day the next day.
So how many modules can we get done in that time frame?
We'll get all 12 of ours.
Okay.
Yeah, we
And
do
you
our
guys do
homework
those 12
beforehand.
modulars annually?
Yes.
Okay.
There's 16 total, because we also have IMP, and pesticide management. Quinn has 3 in water.
Okay.
So once we get all those, and there's ladder safety, and also our staff does a 1 module unit. When all of our staff does those trainings about ladder safety, bloodborne pathogens, all that's part of the requirements. But that's huge for us. We're talking a couple, $20-something thousand for 5%.
Okay.
And then also, because we attend this and go to this and support it, Dave with PACE, he comes right back at us and supports us with OSSA. So I think he's a part of about 3 sessions at the OSSA or spring conference that's coming
So
up.
for
too.
small school districts,
So-
he gives us bonus,
Yeah, so it just is like, it's a handshake everywhere, which is pretty awesome.
So we spend some time, and I want to make sure the board knows what's going on.
Right, and that was why we moved the.
That's why, and that's what I want to thank
Right.
you for the board moving the board meeting, that's why we did it. And if we would have missed those, one of the superintendents in the county has to go do other stuff, because,
Okay, perfect.
any questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, public comment. Okay, so we get to start off with our little reference here. In reference to board policy BDDH, public participation in board meetings. School board normally accepts public comment only at its regular scheduled meetings. Public comment is not normally accepted at special meetings or work sessions. Questions asked by the public when possible will be answered immediately by the chair or referred to a staff member for reply. Questions requiring investigation at the discretion of the chair may be referred to the superintendent for response at a later time. Speakers may offer criticism of district operations and programs, but the board will not hear complaints concerning individual district personnel. The chair will direct the visitor to the appropriate means for board consideration and disposition of legitimate complaints involving individuals. See board policy KLD, public comment about district personnel. School board welcomes participation in each board meeting during public comment. Individuals addressing the board are asked to provide written summaries when possible. Statements should be brief and concise. Please limit the comment to 3 minutes. Announce your name before speaking. Be courteous of others. Follow established procedures for the meeting. Notification is given to speakers that meetings may be recorded. All right, that's it.
Yep.
Long-winded statement. All right, so, and part of that, and we have one, we're supposed to have these 24 hours, 2 days, 3 days. So, Tanya, I don't know on yours if you want to add yours for the next meeting because we just got it this afternoon.
It says that she has to get it right before the board meeting on the website. It says submit to board secretary before the meeting.
Our policy, KL, actually says 72 hours.
For a speaking meeting. Materials or comments are submitted at least 72 hours in advance of a board meeting. So I don't know if is that the policy that's on the website? Okay. So let's go to Casey. We got his.
So I'm not gonna be able to ask my question.
Well, we need to actually follow the rules. I know last week, we did not, and it turned into kind of a mess, it sounds like, or not last week, last month. So I think we are better off if we actually follow the rules. I don't have any problem with you doing your concerns, but we need to follow the rules so that we can be prepared. So, Casey.
Casey Thornton. So last meeting, there was talk of teacher shortages, and we have an obvious retention problem. Didn't do exit interviews. Have we done any research? Have we contacted any of those 101 folks to try to come up with a plan to move forward and stop this bleed?
So I do believe that, I got this list, I think Tandy gave it to me, which I think is the same list that you have, that shows the different people leaving, over the course of the last, 3 years. And I do think that that's a challenge, and it is something that we look at. And you know, this list doesn't mention if people left because they were unhappy, or they retired, or their family moved. So, you know, there's some dynamics within these numbers that we do need to deal with and get down to. You know, some of the things that you mentioned here, as far as standardizing some type of an exit interview, you know, I think that that would be a great, I don't think so, it's not me.
It's me, sorry.
It's not AC/DC, so it's not me. You know, I think that that would be a valid thing to look at. It is a little bit challenging in, you know, not everybody wants to participate